There are so many influences in this world telling us to do more and be more, especially as mothers. I believe motherhood can be filled with joy, peace, and restfulness. In this video, I'm sharing the simple rhythms that help me feel grounded. I hope this reminds you that rest isn't something we have to earn. It's something we're invited into, even in the fullness of motherhood. Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. If you haven't been here before, my name is Kian, and today I wanted to do a little sit down video and just share all about how I find rest, especially in motherhood. Even if you're not a mother, I feel like finding rest in today's culture is so counterintuitive. Like, these tips are applicable no matter what stage you are. The first way I find rest as a mother is doing less. I think it was Madison Gray in one of her videos, she was talking about one way to live a more restful life is just doing less. She had talked about like the one thing rule, and that's just focusing on doing one thing well each day. I feel like it's super common to have like these long to-do lists every single day that we feel like we need to get so much done, and her messaging is more just do one thing well and check that off your list for the day, and then don't like think about anything else on your to-do list. And so I've been working on applying this to my life, and one way I've done it is I stopped doing the dishes. I didn't ask my husband to start doing the dishes, but I just kind of stopped doing the dishes, and my husband started doing them, and I started just thanking him every time he would do the dishes, and now he does all the dishes. When you release things, you also have to release the control of how you want them done. I'm sure he would always do the dishes if I asked him to, but I have to let go of when he does them, how he does them, where he puts things back. I don't need to control all those things. As long as the outcome is the dishes are getting done, I don't need to focus on the exact formula he takes to get them done. If I do want dishes done in the very moment, then I can take it upon myself to do it. Otherwise, I just leave them for him to do whenever he has time or wants to do them, and I just don't control it. And I find it has been so nice to just take that off my plate, and I think that's just something you can apply to so many aspects in life, is just doing less. Obviously, there's the things that like help the household run, like doing laundry and cooking and things like that. There are things that do need to get done, but I just have found myself making these huge to-do lists, and it just is so not important, I feel, as a mother, to focus on getting so many things done around the house. Alright, the next thing I feel like is such a cliche, but I'm gonna say it anyways, and that is self-care. I used to never wash my face. I barely had time to brush my teeth before going to bed. Moving into this new house kind of reset that habit for me, and I have been much more intentional about just doing small acts of self-care when it comes to my body. If you are looking for a way to incorporate some self-care products into your routine, I would highly recommend the brand Osea. I've been using their products for years. They just have such amazing ingredients. All the ingredients are inspired by things found in the sea. It is a mother-daughter founded company, and yeah, they just have such a great reputation. Also, if you're looking for a really good Mother's Day present for someone, they have a few bundles right now. The first one is the Ocean Glow set. This one has a body serum, body balm, and body oil. I used the body oil and it smells so good, so I'm excited to try the serum and the balm. And then this one I'm really excited about. This is their 3-step shower ritual. It's basically your everything shower. When you have time to just shave your legs, exfoliate, wash your hair, like that is a good day as a mother. Osea makes skincare products that are clean and clinically tested from ingredients derived from the sea. Seaweed is one of their main powerful ingredients that they use. I thought I would do a little before and after using Osea's products. As you can see, my skin is pretty dull and dry, and afterwards it's so glowy and moisturized. I love the feeling of all their products. If you want to shop Osea, you can use my code Kian10 to save 10% off your purchase. I'll have a link in the description for you to check out their skincare sets and their Mother's Day gift guide. Along with like body self-care, I think it's also amazing to just do small things to make you feel beautiful every day, whether that's your hair, your makeup. If you guys watch my videos, you know I hardly ever do my makeup, but I have found recently just like the little things like brushing my hair or putting it in a braid instead of just throwing it in like a messy bun, like throwing on a beautiful dress or getting some really beautiful pajamas that make me feel good. All these little things seem to make a really big difference and help me feel more rested and grounded as a mother. And then what would rest be without inviting God into my days? I feel like this is something I've had to slowly learn how to do as I adjust into motherhood. It's definitely not as cookie cutter as it used to be when I had the time in my schedule to have a quiet time every day or just designated time with God. But I do just feel like the simple act of praying and asking God into your day, talking with him throughout the day, talking to your child, and praying with them throughout the day, just things like that. It really helps my days feel more restful when I'm actually leaning on the wisdom and grace of the Holy Spirit. And I think something a little practical that you can do is when I'm driving, I used to just be listening to whatever music I had on for Legend, which is typically kids songs. And yeah, I just felt like I wasn't really getting refreshed in our car rides. So I have been making it a habit to put on a sermon or worship music, and I'll have music playing in the back on his iPad. That way it's like separated from me and I just have a few songs downloaded on there so I can play them without Wi-Fi, and then that way he can listen to his songs and then I can still have some time for myself to kind of get my filling. Another friend just recommended me, I don't know how I didn't think about this, but she just was like, oh, I just do like one earphone in and one out, so I can play something for the kids, but then I can listen to my voice memos from friends, or I can listen to a sermon. That's something I want to do, is yeah, just have an earphone in, listening to things that fill me up while I drive. Another way that I invite God into my days is prioritizing being part of a small group every week. I had a really long season, probably a year, of just having a small group meeting consistently every week, and it was just so good for my soul to be just having really concentrated time to study the word, pray for one another, talk about life. It was so nice. And then I had a few months span where we weren't meeting, and gosh, like it's crazy the difference I felt. Like my weeks felt so much longer and heavier without that consistent meeting time. So that's just another thing I really recommend, is like being part of community, being a part of a Bible study or small group or book club, like just a designated time to gather with other women is it's just such a gift, and I encourage you not to neglect it and to take the time to create that community, because it is so worth it. And like all the time that you invest trying to make friends is going to pay back 1,000-fold in fruit. Community is just the best. So that is another thing I would definitely recommend as a mom. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is not having a strict schedule. I think this helps me a lot be a more restful mother. Obviously, I'm very grateful because my baby is quite flexible. I mean, right now he's only taking one nap a day, which is like so it's such a nice rhythm because I feel like my day is split into two halves, whereas like when they're taking a few more naps a day, I feel like it can be a little bit harder. But when he was younger, I really made it a point to do naps while we were out and about. So he would nap at the beach, he would nap in his carrier at church. Like I was always getting out of the house with him so that he could nap in different environments. Now that he's older, we typically just drive home for his nap because it's like a consolidated 2 hours. It is definitely a time of my day where I recharge, and I've been trying to not like think of his nap time as like when I get things done. I can also just do things that help me relax and recharge during his nap. I don't need to be doing the dishes and cleaning and cooking. Like I can allow myself time during his nap to also just rest. Asking myself, what do I feel like doing with my son today? A lot of the times we end up going to the pool or hanging out with other moms at a park. I feel like a theme is just being outdoors for sure. And that leads me into another way that I rest as a mother is getting fresh air, choosing activities that involve fresh air. I think makes such a huge difference. When we were traveling, we barely went outside for like a week, and I was like, whoa, this is so not what I'm used to. I'm used to getting fresh air every single day for over an hour, and then to like solely being inside, I was like, we need to get this kid outside. I can't believe we haven't had fresh air in so long. So even when we were traveling and it was like colder out, I was like, let's get outside and do something. And so no matter where you are, I feel like planning something every day where you can get some fresh air is just so restful. It just really helps reset my day and reset my body. I recently read the book, The Empowered Wife, and I feel like it's quite a controversial book because some of the things she says in it is like so counter to like what is preached in today's society. However, for me in my situation, I found the book so refreshing and exactly what I needed to hear. So side note, if you maybe want to feel more restful within your marriage, I would definitely recommend reading that book. I just listened to it on audio, and then I ordered a physical copy recently because I was like, I just want this to have as like a manual to reference back on, because there's just so many good reminders and examples throughout the book. One thing she recommends you do is 2 to 3 things a day that bring you pleasure. And so I started making a list of things that bring me pleasure, and I try to do something from that list a couple times a day. Be honest with yourself. Like doing the dishes most likely doesn't bring you pleasure. It might feel good to get it done, but it's probably not something pleasurable. So examples of things that bring me pleasure is reading a book, being at the beach or laying in the sun, knitting, watching a show or a YouTube video, doing my skincare routine. I think I've heard this on the internet called a dopamine menu, so you could also look that up for some inspiration. I watched this one video and she just had such great little ideas. Anytime she wanted to do something that would like boost her mood, she had it in a notebook and she could look in the category depending on how much time she had and pick something from that. So I'm going to link that video because I really liked that video and she had a lot of good ideas, and I think that's a great way to do it, is to have it all written down by how much time each thing takes. When I actually apply this advice, I am noticeably more happy throughout my day, more joyful, because I'm doing things that I love. And I feel like sometimes as a mom, you try to do things that your kids love, but I feel like it's important that we continue to do things that we love as well. Because I'm trying to do a couple things a day that bring me pleasure, that means I'm doing my hobbies more and just trying new things. So I signed up for a gardening class postpartum, and then after that was done, I did a ceramics class with my friend. I feel like having a class is a really great way as a mom because it gives you permission and time set aside away from your baby to do something creative and fun. I think it's just so easy to put off doing those things. And so having a time commitment and a paid class that you know you get every week to just like refresh you is so nice. I feel like that's what made my postpartum so joyful and restful and inspiring, was that gardening class. Now I feel like it's just so much easier for me to make my hobbies a priority. But yeah, if that's something you're not used to doing, I would definitely recommend signing up for a class. The last thing I want to talk about is going to restful places. And I didn't want to make this video and just tell you a bunch of ways to be away from your child and rest. I really wanted to show how motherhood can be restful with your children. And so one thing for me is just going to places that are restful. I think every day I'm asking myself and kind of playing out each scenario of what our plans can be for the afternoon, and just really checking in with myself and asking myself, is it going to be restful? Sometimes I want to hang out with other moms, and sometimes I don't, because it feels like keeping up a conversation while also trying to be engaged with Legend would not feel restful that day. Sometimes having kids around is a good distraction and like really engaging for Legend if he's in a good mood. So then those days I choose to spend time with friends. A lot of times me and Legend will just go to our local pool, just us two, and that is always restful for me. Sometimes I just like to go to like a mall, where I'm grateful that we have outdoor malls here, so we can just walk around the mall. I get to grab like a matcha, he gets to play on like random things at the mall, and I'm just there to be with him. And so when he wants to walk up and down the escalator like 10 times, I just go with him and let him do it. There's no structure or agenda. We're just there to hang out, and I don't have to worry about controlling him. And so I feel like that is always more restful, is when we go to a place that has a lot of open space where you don't need to be like control his behavior the whole time, because that honestly is very draining. As soon as I have an agenda, like going to a store, a lot of times we'll go to Target and I'll just let him run around and go down all the aisles and find toys, and then I'll go put them back, or I'll put him in the cart and we'll like grab different toys for him to play with and see which one helps him last in the cart the longest. But yeah, I just feel like going to places without an agenda and just to let him run around is always a more restful experience for me. Guys, I would love to hear how you guys find rest, either as a mother or just as a woman in general. Please just leave them in the comments and we can all be inspired from one another. As a reminder, if you are looking for a little treat for a mother you know, or a treat for yourself this Mother's Day, check out the Osea bundles. I'll have all the links in the description. I love you guys, and remember, Jesus loves you more.